Hello everyone. Another project I want to share with you today. This is just a little project I've mainly made for myself. It's been on my list of things to want to try for quite some time, and I had a short week this week because I was away at a wedding for a few days, so I thought, well, let's make one of these for myself. So what it is a needle keep or a needle book. I've been lucky enough to find a couple of just little leather ones or vinyl ones over the last year or so, but I've always wanted to make myself one, and this is how it's turned out. And it was really simple, ladies. Very simple to make. And I'll give you a little idea of how it's made, and you don't even have to be a sewer to make one of these. All I've done is I've taken a piece of old napkin or doily or something like that, a piece of fabric, and I've used that as my cover. I've added extra laces around the edge. This one has a piece of lace at the bottom, and then I've popped on the wrong side a square of felt, the same size. This one's not quite the same size because I haven't started working on this one yet, but I would put that like that on the linen part and then just trim it to size. Inside, I would cut another piece of felt. I've just used fancy scissors around the edge, and I've made it slightly smaller than the inside, as you can see, just so it sits inside the book. And then once I've done all that, I've just sewn down the center. Now you can either sew that on a sewing machine or you can just do a running stitch, and that's all I did. For this one, I just used a running stitch. For this one, I've started making here. As you can see, there's the cover, and I did that on the machine. But unfortunately, the machine I'm using at the moment is only a hobby machine, and it seems to be bringing a bit of oil through on the stitches, and you can see that inside, so I'm not very happy with that at all. Inside this one, on each page, I've put an extra piece of felt going across, which is just glued across here and here and again on the last page. And that's just so that when you get a pin or something you want to put in here, or a needle, because it's a needle book, that you can pass that through easily like that, and it won't come through on the other side. You know, that's a little indent, but the actual needle doesn't come through, so it gives you a little bit of thickness to make it easier to work with. So that's basically how I made it, and I'll show you the one I finished. Of course, it's all decorated now. It's got a little handmade flower on the front. I've used mainly scraps on this, some newer pieces, but it's mainly just scraps out of my lace scrap box, or I've got vintage daisy chain here. This is a piece of applique that I had in my box, a flower I've made, and I've just used some pretty seam binding to close it all with, and they are all glued on, and I've used my Helmar's fabric glue to glue all those on, and it holds really nicely. And the beauty about it is it's really soft, so you're not getting that stiffness with a thicker glue. Inside, this was the first one I've made, so we learn from each one, I guess. Inside, I have a little piece of vintage lace going down here, and I've just made that into a little pocket to pop a card in, or if you're sending it to someone, a little message on the card. Doily medallion with a bit of jute string there, just glued into place. A little bit of vintage trim around the pages, And then here I've done this one slightly different. All I did with this one was I got a little square of felt and I folded it into 3 and then glued it on, and if you can see how it just pops up a little bit under there. That gave me the little extra cushioning to thread my needles and things through. But of course the other one I'm making, I'm using this method, so you could do it any way you like. And I've just put a little bit of lace over the top with a couple of those little pearls from the pearl trim you can get on the edges. In the center I've done a longer one. It's actually 2 pieces of felt, but the lace goes all the way across. And ladies, oh, there we go, a big running stitch down the center is holding it all together, and it's holding that really nice and firmly. So, you know, even if you don't sew, I think pretty much anyone can do a running stitch. And then on the back page I've just done a long one with some pins in it, and then a little offcut of vintage lace there, and just some buttons and thread tucked into that little pocket. And I just thought this, you know, this would make a lovely little gift for somebody. I'm always looking for needles. You know, you put them down, then you can't find them if you don't put them back in your pin cushion. So it's nice, you know, you could label different kinds of needles, like there's embroidery needles, but there's darning needles, and then there's quilting needles. There's so many different types of needles, so if you wanted to do that you could. But it's just a nice easy little gift project with Christmas coming. I'm pretty sure we're all looking for economical gift ideas, so I hope you like my little needle keep or needle book, whichever you want to call it. Thank you for joining me today. Bye.